For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on.
All right, folks, buckle up, because the roller coaster of Washington just slammed into the station. I'm your host with Global Pulse News, and today we're talking about this wild turn. Yes, Donald Trump has officially signed the funding bill that ends the government shutdown. That's right, the longest federal shutdown in U.S. history just got a full stop. So hang tight, because we're breaking down 5 major facts you absolutely need to know, with clarity, sass, and a side of you won't believe this energy. Let's dive in. Here's the first big deal. This shutdown wasn't your run-of-the-mill pause in government. Nope, it stretched for 43 days, making it the longest federal government shutdown ever in the history of the... Can you imagine folks going without pay, services halted, travel delayed? All because 2 sides refused to blink. And then boom, the bill gets passed and Trump signs it. That's huge. The sheer length put serious pressure on agencies, employees, and the American public. It forced reality into the Washington game of chicken. When the shutdown finally ended, the message was loud. We may drag this out, but eventually someone's got to pay the freight. And that someone was everyday Americans. So when we say record breaker, we mean record breaker in the worst possible way. But wait, just because the lights came back on doesn't mean everything's magically fixed. Let's shift gears and dig into what the funding bill actually covers. All right, here's where we get into the meat. The bill passed by the House 222 to 209 vote and then signed by Trump will fund the government through January 30. That's not forever, but it buys Congress some breathing room. It's a stopgap, you know? Also, it includes full-year funding for key areas: agriculture, military construction, the legislative branch. For example, programs like Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, that millions rely on, get secured. No more freeze and benefits from this funding measure. And federal workers who were furloughed or working without pay, they'll get back pay thanks to this. So yes, the bill reopened the doors, kicked people back into their seats, and said, okay, we'll continue for now. Transition to fact 3. But hold up, this being Washington, there's always the fine print and the but also clause. Let's look at what's not in the deal. Here's the kicker. Even though the government's reopening, the deal didn't include everything. In particular, this funding bill did not include the extension of enhanced subsidies under the Affordable Care Act that thousands of Americans count on to keep their health insurance affordable. Democrats had insisted these subsidies be part of the deal. Republicans pushed back. The result? A major demand got left behind in the hallway. Listen, you reopen the government, great, but leaving this health component out means trouble for lots of folks. Premiums can shoot up, coverage might shrink, and the rhetoric is already heating up. This fight isn't over, said the Democratic leaders. So yeah, reopening the government was step 1. Step 2 might be this health battle. And speaking of battles, let's talk about who blinked, who stood firm, and what this means politically. Let's get real. Political theater was front and center. The shutdown, the deal, the signing, all of it was wrapped in blame, bargaining chips, and see who folds first vibes. Republicans blamed Democrats for holding the country hostage. Democrats argued Republicans shoved through a funding bill without major concessions on health care. The House vote, 222 for, 209 against, with 6 Democrats crossing over to support it. The deal reached the desk of President Trump, and then he signed it saying, quote, "We are sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion." Meanwhile, employees, contractors, travelers, and regular citizens were caught in the crossfire. Flight delays, unpaid workdays, food assistance delays, the ripple effects were serious. So you're looking at a political win, maybe, but a real-world cost. All right, so we've got record shutdown, funding through Jan 30, missing healthcare subsidies, and political frenemies. Now what does it mean for you, the everyday American? Here's where it hits home. The deal ends the shutdown, but the consequences remain. Federal workers will get back pay, agencies reopen, program funding restored. That's good. But the funding only lasts through January, meaning another deadline looms. The healthcare subsidies being left out means many Americans face rising premiums or loss of coverage. Travelers face flight delays during the shutdown because air traffic staffing was impacted. So yes, relief, but not full resolution. The stage is set for round 2 of negotiations. Do you think Washington is going to settle down and get everything perfect in the next few months? Don't bet on it. The political heat is still on. So there you have it. 5 major things you absolutely should know about this funding bill and the end of the shutdown. If you enjoyed this high-octane breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a beat from Global Pulse News. And hey, check out our sister channels too. For kids' entertainment and learning, we've got Sparkling Kids and Rayma Fatima. Let's grow together as one family, be your voice, and fuel the future. Drop us a comment below. What do you think about this deal? Relief or delay? We'll see you in the next video.